GENESIS Part 1, the 5th official map, and as the title suggests, the first part of a continuing storyline to end our tale in ARK Survival Evolved. Released early in 2020, and the first to not be one big map, but instead a simulation within 5 distinct biomes, introducing a new method of travel, seeing you teleport from biome to biome at will, introducing new resources, a currency and shop system through your companion HLNA, an artificial being created by Helena, the protagonist of ARK Survival Evolved. With a new map introduced new engrams, a mission system that spreads across all locations, and some fantastic great elevated locations and caves to build in, each ramping up the environment features. Across each biome is the introduction of game-changing creatures set on a path towards an early grind for tech and experience to level up your player, with drops completely removed from this map and instead replaced with graded rewards and 3 tiers of purchasable loot crates. It's also the first official map to introduce a mini-boss, with a completely new take on boss fights as you run an almost gauntlet through time, facing against the bosses you've known through missions to face the ultimate boss of this map. You're right kids, it's Raasclark and welcome to part 8 of the Survivor Guides. Today we are taking on GENESIS Part 1. Before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share around, and let's get into it. So the biomes in ARK Genesis are very different to the biomes you've known before, with no obelisk system, and instead replaced with each mission offering your opportunity to transfer off this map. And the biomes can be summed up as the bog biome, vast masses of swamp, and certainly not the beginner biome it appears to be, with many hostile creatures lurking around each corner, giant trees with creatures awaiting to snap you up, large glowing flowers, and repeated swarm attacks you'll struggle to avoid. The volcano biome, unexpectedly containing a volcano overlooking a very hot and ash-filled wasteland. One of the more challenging biomes on the map, it's certainly the most resource giving, whilst competing against a hellscape that rains fire from the sky. The ocean biome, arguably the easiest one of all until you reach the deep underwater trenches, competing against whirlpools but offering giant waterproof structures and oxygen bubbles to keep you safe. Heading to the Arctic, we're greeted with the frigid mountain peaks, frequently throwing avalanches at you, and blinding blizzards to the east. And finally the Lunar biome, an alien moon with low gravity, a thin atmosphere, teasing oxygen vents, element fog, and solar rays that will kill the survivor if they are exposed to it. Least we forget the meteor showers and the hardest creatures on this map, all of which you can teleport at a moment's notice using HLNA, selecting in your pinwheel to decide which corner of that biome you would prefer to teleport to, leaving you somewhat vulnerable for a short second or two. Explorer notes are now replaced with glitches, and you'll certainly want to pursue these to gain XP and help to work through ticking off those missions. Flyers are allowed on this map, but they aren't rideable, meaning this is a no-flyer map, with the exception of perhaps the Exo Suit, and tech suits are disabled if you want to fly around. However, this map introduces hover skiffs, the new form of travel that certainly reshaped travelling in the air across all maps in ARK. With every biome is a home to a new creature, with new ways to tame, From a destructive magma soar where you'll need to steal their eggs within the heart of the volcano and being potent to damaging metal bases, down to a cute and cuddly ferox where once fed its requirements elements, it will shapeshift into an enormous, ferocious foe, becoming more powerful the more elements you feed it, but don't feed it too much. The wise and sturdy Megachelon, giant, tanky, movable bases that require a microbe swarm to be drawn near it to tame. The ever space-wandering Astrocetus, armed with a cannon and bombs and the ability to phase through the air, and the always watching Bloodstalker, ready to grab you at any moment's notice, suck your blood and web swing away. The map also introduces a number of X variants of the dinos you know, but on GENESIS Part 1, they're not just cosmetic differences, they'll offer boosted stats from their original variation. And lest we forget the introduction of the Tech Trike, a new tech variant that you'll find at the Lunar biome, as well as many Tech Rexes being the best place to tame these. For resources, this map isn't too bad, as long as you know where to go, and certainly a special one introducing element shard farming, and all that can be farmed with the new harvesting tool, the mining drill, and all of the resources you can buy through the HLNA shop. But you'll need to earn those hexagons, whereby you'll need to complete missions, of which there are 176, all creating a set of parameters in order for you to complete them in the time given to unlock the rewards and hexagons. And the missions can range from racing to fishing to hunting, accompanying, and brutal gauntlets where you will face against some of the biggest, hardest foes in ARK, with an in-depth mission guide requiring a video of its own. Spawning on the map, whilst Bog is recommended to be the easiest, it's certainly not. You may get lucky and spawn in the right place, but if you want a guaranteed safe spawn, you need to go to Ocean. Whilst there are plenty of nasty foes in the sea, you'll spawn on land and away from danger. There's some great base locations on GENESIS Part 1. Sadly, a lot of them are blocked by missions, which you can turn off on unofficial, but you'll find early game Ocean is probably the best to start on, with many elevated pillars and a wealth of hidden areas in the underwater vacuums. But don't overlook the Arctic and the Bog, as they both offer cheeky hidden cracks in the walls and trees and some decent elevated spots. The volcano has a few, but being the go-to place for resources and where all the magma soars live, you might not see a base stay there very long. But the Lunar, once conquered, offers some fantastic caves to build in, where you'll likely compete for arguably some of the best spots on the map. So resource farming, yes, you've got the shop, and you can buy whatever you want if you want to run missions and earn those hexagons, which will of course gain you a lot of XP and loot in the process. But if you want to return to the archaic ways, metal, early on you can find a small wealth at the northeast spawn of the Bog. There's also a small area in the Arctic, but at the top of the mountain there's a wealth also offering plenty of obsidian and tons of crystal too. But the volcano is the hotspot, especially for metal and obsidian. And whilst you're there, you'll want to farm the element shards, with some just outside the volcano, but a nice fat chunk of element shards within. But be wary, you're going to be fighting a time limit, as that volcano may erupt whilst you're in it. Sadly, it's one of the worst for paste, as there is only one singular beaver dam spawn at the fishing lake in the Arctic. But it's worth visiting, killing the penguins there too, for a bit of early organic poly. But when you're ready to take on the Lunar, there's a cave within which holds Karkinos, the organic poly and chitin giving friend. Just don't forget that chainsaw to harvest a good amount. green, blue and red gems can all be found in the ocean within the vacuum compartments. And to gain that oil, early on you might want to visit the Arctic, but the volcano boasts a lake filled with oil where you can harvest or put down an oil rig and farm plenty there. And silica pearls are farmed in a new way, as they can be gained in abundance from the oysters in the ocean biome, where you'll gain much more using an angler than farming by hand. And black pearls, starting out you might want to farm the euryptrids or the trilobites in the ocean, but deep in the volcano there are plenty. Just watch your back, as there are magma sores at every turn. A first to ARK sap can be grinded, as well as gas balls and absorbent substrate from the poison trees in the bog. And ambergris, which you're going to need for magma sore raising and ammo for your Astrocetus, can be farmed from the green line nodes in the Lunar. And lastly, shell fragments. These can be only harvested from killing megachelons in the ocean, but worth harvesting because not only are they needed to craft the same tame saddle and ocean platforms, but they can be used instead of chitin to craft paste, and they can substitute to craft a variety of keratin requiring saddles. The final boss of GENESIS Part 1 is the most laborious task to face and beat, with the Gamma version requiring you to have completed 58 missions, Beta requiring 116, and Alpha to unlock all of the tech engrams on this map and the extra 15 levels to your character is gonna need 168 missions to complete. And it's worth the tech engrams, as some of these are fantastic, with the tech claws, the cruise missile and the shoulder cannon being big steps in ARK PvP. But before you begin to face against this last boss, you'll certainly want to encounter the Moda, a giant aggressive fish offering some great loot if you can conquer it, including the engram, the grenade launcher. And once you're set and ready to conquer the boss, of which you're gonna need to be prepared with an army of dinos ready to take on the Horde, you'll need to choose Arrive Protocol within your HLNA and begin the face-off against the corrupted Master Controller, the digital final form of Rockwell, as the floating head commands waves and waves of corrupted AI, of which you'll need to collect data keys from fallen corrupted AI and shut down the last boss we have met so far in ARK until GENESIS Part 2 arrives. Thanks all for watching, kids. I hope you enjoyed this one. Drop a comment below, let me know. If you're new to this series, I've been doing all of the maps in the lead up to GENESIS Part 2, and you can find those in my tips playlist. There's only one more map left to do, Crystal Isles, the last mod map released. I'll see you there soon. My name's Raasclark. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and as always, peace out.